Hey loose screws, Arthur here from Frontier. Congratulations on your year anniversary. 52 fantastic shows in the bag. Here's to another year and beyond. I'll see you guys in the black. Take care, Commanders.
Alright, so it is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. This is episode 53 of Loose Screws. And, wow, my Chrome just crashed. Thank you, Chrome. That's interesting. That's like the first time in forever that Chrome has crashed.
Need more RAM.
Oh, I got 32.
Need more RAM.
That's only enough for 2 tabs.
Yeah.
Maybe
guess
3.
the show notes.
I am Ty Worsham. With me this evening is our audio engineer, Trax, and we got community manager, Chig, and we got our squadron leader, Admiral Hate, and we got our PS4 squad leader, Devo Looter. How's it going this evening, gentlemen? It's been a week for Ty.
It's been a week for all of us, technically 7 days, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's true.
We've been having all kinds of issues at work where things are breaking. We had this bank of docks for like body cams, and they're all wired separately, independently, so that we don't have to worry about power surges and stuff. And if one breaks down, we still have 2 right there. So we have more docks than we actually have body cams. And I get a call last night that all 3 docks are down, and I'm like, that's impossible. And apparently the building had got struck by lightning and
Oh my God.
magically hit all 3 buildings from all 3 different power ports from all 3 different points of the freaking all 3 outlets are on a different breaker. So it just took out the docks. That's all it did. It was like apparently a magical lightning strike that did this. And they're all on battery backups, and the whole building's on a generator. It's just stupid. I'm just looking at this like this is a 1 in a million thing. This never. I've been doing this month. I've been doing IT work for 20 years. Never seen nothing like it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Anyway, so last week we hit our 1-year anniversary show. If you haven't listened to that, that was pretty cool. We had everybody back. So we're starting a new year this year, and I wanted to do a bunch of new things, but with everything going on, I didn't get a chance to sort it all out. So we'll just carry forward for now. Anyway, so we also got a member of our group and a member of Canon with us this evening. And Mr. Awan, Professor Awan, I fixed it. Is probably the smartest person in Elite I've ever met. And I want to finish my last 2 crackers here. They're going to have to wait. Should have finished before we started. But we're doing so next Tuesday, which is the 8th, September the 8th. Probably around 7-8 o'clock server time. Not server time. That doesn't make sense. Central time.
Yeah, whatever times you guys like, I'm free to start.
Yeah, we'll do it at 8.
Yeah, people are usually on by 8 Central.
Yeah, so 8 Central, September the 8th, we're doing Black Flight Tuesday. So Juan, tell us, what is Black Flight Tuesday?
Yeah, sure. So I used to go around a lot of player groups and host lore events where we do these little voice-acted lore tours, not me voice acting, but listening to in-game voice recordings that I would specifically pick groups that really basically knew nothing about what the topic was. And really the idea was just to go around and get people interested and get them out of sitting in a Haz-Res or staring at a wall mission board forever. So after a year of taking a break of doing them, I figured I'd go ahead and start them up again. And this one is going to be on the Black Flight, who are the Pleiades' earliest suppressors. This is a story dating back, around when Obsidian Orbital was first built, which would have been about 3 years ago, something like that.
4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago. I have the actual dates all set up, but I don't have that up at me right now. But the Black Flight are a sort of covert military operation. No one really knows who they worked for, but they supposedly have been with the feds. And they are a very, very dark Men in Black to a certain degree, but they also have their own little agenda with manipulating some of the Thargoids' background tech. Basically, the way the voice-acted lore tours work is we'll be getting everyone together in one place on my carrier, and we'll be jumping out to the general locale where they are. From there, it'd be easiest just for us all to travel around in our ship. So something that's a light exploration or just really a light jumping. It doesn't need to be, we're not going vast distances. We're going to be in a very small area in between the Pleiades and the Taurus constellation. So only about 100 some odd, 160 light years. And we'll all meet up. I'm going to actually be streaming this between Simbad Regime, another player group, and Loose Screws. So they'll be joining us as well. They won't all be clamored into voice chat. They'll just be joining through live stream because we've got a bot over there that takes care of streaming between two places, and I'll have someone else leading the group over there. We'll head out to these places. Generally, the best way to do it, so I've run a lot of these, and a lot of people get really excited. A lot of people like to talk, just they think out of their head verbally. It's usually best if things are run where people are put themselves on push to talk, and then we'll scan the entire object. We'll get all the logs, and then all at once we'll read it together and think. Obviously, we won't wait on each other, but all right, I did this one. Next one, we'll just do it in the general batch.
Yeah.
Wait till everyone's done, and at the very end, when the first few people are done and everyone opens their mic, you're free to talk and whatever. It's not meant to be like a gatekeeping sort of way, but a lot of people will either read quick or listen to something more quickly, and then they'll go, "Whoa, that happened!" And then you'll know something surprising is supposed to happen on the next one, and it just kind of ruins the whole situation. Or people are, "I didn't know that they used to shoot people upside down," So you really need to have people on push to talk, at least for that bit. But then after listening, there will be, obviously, people can leave it open discussion. I'll give some background. So this event will be going from about 3 years worth of lore, because the Black Flight are one of the only stories that actually connect the Pleiades to Colonia. Mm-hmm. There's also Jacques, but that's kind of indirectly connected. But yeah, the Black Flight are one of the only ones that take the Thargoid story out of what was originally the only spot they were in, all the way out to Colonia. So that's generally how they work. And we've got 2 main locations we'll head to, which will take a little bit of time. The last bit is people can follow along if they choose to risk it. Well, I'll be live streaming, so I'll be going to the last couple sites myself. But the Black Flight are kind of coded like ATR, or at least they used to be. Some of the places don't always function now, but they used to be early ATR, and even with engineering, they would, really give a beating on your ship. And also some of the bases have live guns and missile racks on the bases. So I'll be sure to give people a heads up. Hey, you might not live in the next section, but if you want to come, go ahead. If not, there's a live stream, or if things get too late, the live stream will be up both on my YouTube and my Twitch. So
No, my
Yes,
vote would have been have that a surprise for everybody, but you do.
It's like a fire on site situation.
It depends. It depends on how the instance loads up. Sometimes the black flight aren't there initially. Sometimes the base doesn't mind because of no NPCs being around to alert. Other times they'll wake in late, like a Thargoid wakes in late when you're sitting at an attacked megaship, and then all of a sudden you get assaulted in the midst of like 30 ships at once. I've had that happen before. That's generally how they work. I've run a lot of these for a lot of groups, and everyone has gone very swimmingly, even when I've had 60 to 70 people in one voice channel. So, but
Sounds
again,
fun.
that's where the push to talk kind of helps.
Yeah. Well, we can enforce that, right? We can set a voice channel to push to talk.
You can also set speaker priority. So certain people, if they're talking, the rest of everything mutes. And again, it's not, I know some people don't like push to talk, but it's not meant to control everyone of, all right, we're doing this in this way, don't talk. But there's some serious spoilers in there that will lead to things further on, and you don't know who knows what already about, I've seen this other base, so this makes sense that they used to gun people down over here, and it ruins things. So, but that is the general gist. Will probably load up on my carrier, preferably 20 minutes prior to 8 o'clock would be cool. If that's not possible, obviously the carrier can wait, but it'd be nice to be able to spool the carrier up 15 minutes till the starting point, and then as soon as it starts, we get over there. Everyone can come up on the landing pads, and I'll give a little rundown of what we're looking at as we're traveling, and then go from there. But preferably 15 minutes before. But if everyone doesn't get there, it's I'm not on any time constraint, so it's not a big deal. It's all going to be recorded, so if anything is missed, everyone has their chance to go back over.
It's super cool,
awesome.
Man. Yeah, it's just, man, I'm. See, what sucks is I have maintenance next Tuesday night, so I won't be home till like 10, 11 o'clock. So I'm going to miss all this.
We might still be going depending on how long. So you might be tired by then, but I've been wanting to do the Black Flight one for a long time with Sinbad, but most of the ones that I've done in the past, they're 3-day affairs, and believe it or not, people have been able to come back in the same amount of numbers the next day. People really got invested in them back when. So I've been wanting to bring up a lot of the old stuff that is still important lore-wise, but has kind of been eclipsed now because, we're heading into another era of story making. So much better to do stuff like this now as a prerequisite than have people, as soon as Odyssey drops, hey guys, you want to go? I can run! It's everyone just losing their mind over, that they can trip over a rock or two and, not realize, hey, you can look for things along the way, et cetera, et cetera.
Confirmed, by the way. We don't know if we can run.
Yeah, true. You might just shuffle. On those 9G worlds, I don't think you're running very fast.
Sure. A brisk walk.
Brisk crawl on all fours on a 9G planet.
So where is your carrier going to be parked before you head out?
I will likely. We can do Fusang. We can do. If you want me to just pick a place, we could do it from your guys' area, but I'd probably do it as a merge point between Sinbad and.
Yeah, that would be good.
Sinbad and you guys. So I'll probably just do Fusang. That's Fusang. That's one of my first home systems, and it's a really nice base between all of the major player groups that I've played with in the past. I picked it because everyone kind of had access there.
And what's the name of your carrier?
It's the Professor's Inquirer. Pretty hard to mess with Professor in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
you want people to be there around 7:30, 7:40, docked and ready to go. And then is there a type of ship that you want them to take, or a loadout that would be good? Or
no, if you're wanting to hang out for the after event, or well, not I really shouldn't say the after the event, the dangerous part, we'll just title it in caps. Then you could, bring something with a bit of shields. I haven't been around the Black Flight NPCs in a long time. And now with the way engineering is, it likely isn't an issue. And most people have ships that are fully engineered. Black Flight came out during a time when people definitely engineered, but a lot of people that were exploring, they were still kind of on the fence of, do I really need that extra, boost to grind or to even just go out of my way that I don't want to? So a lot of people took a lot of hits back when, but basically be prepared to get hit up by men in black, and otherwise, something that has decent range. I'd say over 30 or 40. It's not the end of the world. The jumps in between these places are pretty close. I've already mapped a jump route for everyone down to like a minimum of 25 light years. So, and the travel time in system takes a little bit here and there. So, not super long, but people will be able to catch up.
Okay, so we should strive for like 25 light years.
Yeah, at least over that. Okay. I'm sure most people that are coming, you guys have already had an exploration event, and most people that would be joining have anyway reasonable jump ships nowadays. So go build a stock DBX. Go build a stock Asp. Go build a stock Dolphin even, and A-rate it. Hauler, Cobra. Cobra gets 25 default out of the box, 25, 26, something like that. So any of those ships stock will work too.
Okay.
Well, get you to post some of this stuff, or get tracks to post some of the stuff over in the events channel.
Yeah, sure.
And
I've got a whole write-up already, so that sounds good.
We'll pin it up in the events channel. That way, if people need it, they can get access to it right there. That way, people know what time to be there, know where to join, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Excited to do a different kind of event. I was being faced with the possibility of repeating events already, which is fine too. But
yeah, I've had a lot of these in the back burner for a long time because I specifically did them a fair bit with Sinbad, but Sinbad is one of those groups where it's a lot of new people. When I say new people, I mean like, hey, I just rolled out of the press for creating a new Sidewinder. Where do I go? What do I do? So no, not everyone these days is really ready. Back when I did them, it was a big hoot and holler. We had a ton of people in there, but I have many more lined up. I might do them in conjunction with Canon in the future, but I figured I'd start here and see how they work. And then I've got some of the Guardians stuff way out, voice acted stuff there. So always enjoyed these because I think now more people do know that voice acted stuff happens in the game, but they kind of go there and it's one-off stuff. Like you go to a generation ship and, well, that was a cool story. And then you go back to your res site, but this, has a lot of precursor information tied into some stories that were only read through Galnet. And all of Galnet, all the way back to when the game started, is still readable, not in game, because that'd be crazy. But on the Elite Dangerous community website, the official one by Frontier, they have a full Galnet page section, and you can go back through every year, every day, every date. And so there's a lot of backstory that I think a lot of people are going to be very confused when they get into Odyssey or whatever. Whenever some story arcs start to pick up, there's a good 14 some odd branches of story arcs, and most people only know, the big buzzwords of Thargoid and Guardian, and that's about it. That's like two of the main things. So
that's about what I know. So I'm really excited to go on this. I've wanted to get deeper into the lore stuff, but it's hard to know where to get started. I mean, it is a whole freaking galaxy after all.
Yeah, I've enjoyed being a traveling salesman of lore events, so it's gone pretty well so far over the years.
That's cool shit, man. Like we're gonna have to do this again just for me at some point. So
yeah, sure.
I guess I don't mind.
I don't mind redoing these. It's always fun to. I have a photographic memory, but after so long, it's just there's so much stuff that it's even sometimes a re-thrill to me going back of, oh yeah, that was why that was so cool. Okay. After a while, it starts to all meld together.
That'll be cool. That'll be Tuesday the 8th around 8 or 7:30, 7:40. Be on Awan's carrier, and we'll go from there, man.
Yeah, sounds good.
I
have to
would
make
like
sure I get myself back to the bubble because I am 12,000 light years away in my carrier right now. So that'd be a sure shame. Hey guys, all right, I'm going to direct you from afar. Go here, and here's what. No,
You can.
I'll be
I'll
back.
fly out there, and you can multi-crew in with me, and then
Yeah.
we'll be
Hey, there you go. No, I'll be back. It's not a big deal. It's like 7 jumps or so.
all right.
Yeah. Well, in other news, I got gifted a copy of the Jurassic Worlds. Now, I'm going to talk about this for just a minute because it's a Frontier game. Now, I had played this at a buddy of mine's house for a little bit shortly after it come out. It was pretty good. What little bit I saw of it was pretty good. I was actually playing on the PlayStation version, I think. I can't remember if it's a PlayStation or Xbox. I think it's a PlayStation. But it ran pretty good. I enjoyed playing it. It's a good game. I will say this: playing it on the PC is definitely meant for PC. So the big thing about this is that when I was playing it, I started noticing like some interface things, the way that it looked, the way that you would interact with the buttons and stuff. Actually kind of reminded me of the fleet carrier interface and the new station interface. So it got me kind of thinking about stuff like, well, what else could they kind of pull from this and put into Odyssey or put into a future update or something, you know?
Dinosaurs. Duh.
God, yes, dinosaurs. Yes, let's make it happen. I so want a pet T-Rex on my vet. I so want it. Just make it. And you know what? If we're going to be able to walk around.
I think you're breaking immersion.
Hey, people said they wanted dinosaurs in a space game until their first iteration of No Man's Sky came out with the chicken leg T-Rex.
Oh my God.
So count your P's and Q's.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I didn't expect me to enjoy it. It's a strategy game. I haven't been into strategy games in a while. But yeah, I'm enjoying building my little park and trying to keep it from, you know, trying to keep the murder hobos out, which the murder hobos are the
Are they dinosaur murder hobos?
yeah, they're dinosaur murder hobos. So that's hard to do. You have no idea how strong these murder hobos are.
I don't even
Clever
know
girls.
what to say to that.
I don't know what this game's about.
Nice
No,
Jurassic Park quote.
like there's 3 different things. There's like security, there's what's it called? Security, science, and then like earning money. And they're called I can't remember what they are right now. And I'm probably butchering the hell out of it.
You were a true wordsmith.
Anyway, you have to kind of balance the
Bill
3. If you get too far one way, like the park goes ape shit, or someone will sabotage shit. Like, oh, the dinosaurs are loose. You're like, what? What is happening? And probably the coolest thing I found is like the ability to drive around the little ranger. Like you build this ranger station, and you can drive around their Jeep and take pictures of the dinosaurs. Man, I spent like 4 hours doing this the other day and realized, oh my God, my park is dying because I'm just driving around taking pictures of dinosaurs.
The classic zookeeper experience.
Yeah. So anyway, so the raptor got out, and anyway, no. Anyway, so that's actually what I spent over the majority of my weekend was doing that. I did not log into Elite but a couple of times because I've been playing that. I've been playing Flight Simulator, unfortunately, but I will be back in Elite this week. So yeah. Anyway,
You still sound like a woman in Flight Simulator.
oh no, I got that fixed. All right. So the way I got that fixed was I reinstalled the damn game.
Are you sure you got it fixed?
To clarify here, I look like a man.
Oh,
But
hell.
I sound like a woman, and I can't figure out how to change that.
Do you feel like a woman?
Were you just waiting to pull that one out of the box?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to get the right time, so I had to manufacture one.
Oh,
The mark of a genius.
Sociopath.
all right. Well, there was a little bit of other news. Is that so? There's actually, I feel like I hear about a war going on in Colonia every freaking week. But there's a war going on in Colonia. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this right now is because apparently it can actually affect what ships are available for purchase there. It's in the Carcosa system, and it basically boils down to a Federation faction or I'm trying to think of the Federation faction right now because I cannot think of it. Is it the Robardan Rock? Is that the thing? I don't think that's it. That don't sound right.
The Nameless.
The Nameless. Thank you.
Nameless in control.
Thank you. I was looking on the link and I could not find it. But anyway, it's kind of cool. So if you're anywhere near Colonia, go help out the Federation folks. There's only one place where you can purchase, the Federation ships, Alliance ships, and the Type 10. And if this other faction takes over,
Slaves will be running amok.
yeah. So, but we also can't buy those Federation ships or Alliance ships in the Type 10. At least not for a while. Probably we'll be able to get the Alliance ships in Type 10 back in, I would assume, at some point. But not the Fed ships. So, yeah, support the Federation and go help them. But, yeah. Anyway, that's all I got
Sure.
to say.
Before you're going to be on a hit list. The Colonial
sure.
Council hears you.
I'm sure. I probably already am.
No, not yet.
The other kind of big news this week was that NVIDIA finally announced its new 30 series of cards, the 3000 series. They announced a 3070, a 3080, and a 3090. I still have not seen reliable benchmarks on these, so I'm kind of holding my breath a little bit. That being said, that 3080 looks pretty damn sweet. I'm just saying, looks pretty sweet.
Seen some pretty solid leaks about a 3070 Ti following closely too. There seems to be some systems from like Alienware and Lenovo and stuff that have them listed, so that's probably on its way. GDDR6X version kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is one of those generation of video cards that we're going to remember. We remember the 2000 series because it was ridiculously priced. And we remember the 1000 series because it was such a huge upgrade as far as performance goes. And the 3000 series is pretty much a 70% upgrade over the 1000 series and like a 40% upgrade over the 2000 series, roughly. Am I get my numbers about right?
Yeah, by their numbers, it's the biggest performance jump in a single generation. So like that, the 1000 was a big jump over the 900.
Mm-hmm.
This is bigger as a delta,
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, with those crackers. It'll be interesting to see if they actually live up to the performances that they're touting.
I'd be surprised if they don't. Just that new technology that's in these, and even I don't know if you saw PC Gamer or PC Gamer. Mm-hmm. They had a thing today where somebody was running Doom Eternal at 4K and bouncing between the 2080 Ti and the 3080, and it was just if you're just talking frames per second, it will look like between 40 and 50% bump. Yeah, and that doesn't take into account faster load times and everything else you're going to get with the way that it utilizes its onboard RAM now compared to in the past. So these things are beast.
Was that the same showcase where they ran Doom at 1,000 frames a second?
No, it wasn't the same one, but
that was a liquid
probably
nitrogen machine.
People, yeah,
they were actually pouring liquid nitrogen into the damn
Yeah, and they have a cylinder on the CPU.
Yeah, thank you. The CPU, and they were. It was actually kind of a trip to watch. Anyway, yeah.
The big thing about
competition overclocking.
Yeah, that's a whole industry. That's insane what those guys do. But it's not anything that you can do practically. But the 3000 series, the thing about it is that NVIDIA just fired a shot over the bow of AMD and the consoles by putting these out this powerful and this, cheap is subjective, obviously. But the fact that the 3080 is, going to be that much more powerful than 2080 Ti and is going to be, 30%, 40% cheaper than a 2080 Ti is just mind boggling.
Oh no, it's nearly half price, man.
Well, no, you go from 1200 down to 800, so you're not going to third off.
Well, yeah. Math is hard.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's a hell of a deal. But then you won't know until you see, what the EVGA cards are and what the overclock cards are and what the water cooled cards are. And there's so much that we have to see that hopefully, Linus Tech Tips and Gamers Nexus and all those guys will have these things in their hands over the next 10 days or so. And we'll start seeing legitimate benchmarks. That's the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And but I'm freaking stoked. I want one yesterday.
I'm actually probably going to be holding out for a 3080 Ti. I got a feeling that we're probably, I think we're going to get a 3070 Ti. I think we're probably not too far off from a 3080 Ti. So it's like, why would I?
Yeah, but why not? If you're thinking that a 3080 Ti at some bigger money, that I know that the 3090 is, $1,500, $700 more, but it is so much more powerful than even if they make a 3080 Ti, that you might as well just go that route. If you need something more powerful than the 3080.
I'm kind of betting the Ti, if they come out with 30 Ti, would just be about $100, $150 more, which is still a hell of and the performance will probably just be a butt hair below the 3090.
I'd be surprised. That 3090 is that's a professional level card for $1,500.
Something to keep in mind about that 3090 though is that number one, it doesn't, unless I've read this incorrectly, it does not fit a standard ATX case. You're going to have I think it's 40 or 50 millimeters more on the GPU clearance to make it fit.
Like the side of the case.
Yeah.
Now, if you mount it vertically, that's different. But
now, if you're spending $1,500 on a graphics card, I think that's the least of your concerns.
So, I mean, maybe for you, but for me, I don't want it to change cases. I really like my case. I spend a lot of time picking out my case, so I don't want to have to swap it out. And the 3080. I don't know. It's just the sweet spot for me, in my opinion. Most people are going to be looking at
it's their flagship.
Yeah. The 3080, I'm sorry, the 3070 is probably what most people are going to be attracted to. On paper, the 3070 is doing better than the 2080 Ti is right now.
Yeah, for $500, it's insane.
Yeah.
Right. It's that's a very, very high power per dollar.
So I'm going to tell you guys a story real quick. So I work with a bunch of console jockeys. I know that sounds weird, but like I work with a bunch of console. They're all PlayStation guys. They love the PlayStation. They think it's the greatest thing ever. They're not PC gamers, which irritates the shit out of me.
I don't like where this is going.
So ever since the specs on the PlayStation 5 come out, they've been touting the whole consoles finally caught up to PC, guys. They finally caught up. You don't need a PC no more. Blah, 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 blah. All the things.
Every generation.
They finally caught up.
And then I'm sitting there at my desk. I just kept telling them, just wait. Just wait. What are you talking about? NVIDIA hadn't talked yet. Just wait. Wait till NVIDIA talks. When NVIDIA talks, we'll go from there. And NVIDIA talked yesterday, or Tuesday, whatever freaking day it was. Tuesday. They talked Tuesday. And man, how do I want to say this? The console jockeys can shut the hell up now. Present company accepted.
Oh,
Okay, I'm going to hop in real quick here. I just want to make something clear. I may come off as a PC Master Race snob at times, but I own 2 Xbox Ones, and I console game a lot. But
yeah, can I ask?
at the end of the day, at PC, if you want the best gaming experience, nothing matches PC. Especially, if you've got games that you play on a console and on your PC, and you compare the two, it is night and day. It's like not even playing the same game, just the quality that you get. So I'm just saying that. But console has its place, and I enjoy consoles, and I play a lot of console games. So you guys send hate mail to Ty. That's at our Discord. And
well, if I can ask a question, how much was this graphics card?
The 3070 is 500. The 3080 is 700.
Yeah.
God dang. I mean, that's the price of a whole PS5 at this point.
Do we have the PS5 prices? I didn't realize they had listed them.
No, but you can pretty much
it's not
be
going to be more than
guaranteed it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe if you get the version that has a disk drive on it, maybe.
Yeah.
But no one knows at this point.
The thing you
But that's
are
generally
buying.
why I don't have PCs, because I'm broke as shit.
The console is great for a low cost solution that has a simplicity. It's enclosed. You don't have to deal with the complications of assembling a computer and loading software onto it and crap like that. That's exactly what it's for, and they do a great job of that. And whenever they do a big version update like this, they become more current with their graphics. But like everything is always advancing in the background, so it's just a human tendency to want to justify your own purchases, right? So we're going to say like, well, PCs are always better because we're PC guys, and consoles like, well, we finally caught up to PCs. Now you can't say anything. It's like, well, I don't know, for like an hour maybe, but that doesn't really matter. That's not the point. You know what I mean? Like that truly isn't the point.
Can you play what you want on it is the answer there.
And that's why exclusive games have always been the issue with consoles, not whether one was a little faster than the other.
Right.
Yeah, I've never been a graphics snob, I don't know how you could be on console, but I think what it boils down to a lot of the times is assembling a PC is pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and difficult.
Yeah. And the thing is that and don't I'm not shitting on console players in general. I'm shitting on the people I work with. So because
there's assholes on both sides. There's PC people who are absolute shit on console people. Then there's console people who just absolutely hate everything about PC. It's so expensive. It's this. It's that. It's like, well, yeah, but
Dang, you just said all the things I said.
Yeah, pretty much.
The thing,
I don't hate anybody.
The thing for me is like I've always just kind of had the attitude of whichever one has the game I want to play on it is I'm going to play on it. And if there's a PC version, I'm going to play on the PC because that's where I prefer to play. A perfect example is like the last Zelda game. I got a PlayStation 4 and I got a Switch. And I love my Switch, man. I love it. Not real fond of PlayStation 4. And the only reason why I don't like the PlayStation 4, I don't like the controller. I thought the controller of the two sticks side by side would be perfect. It would be the way I wanted it to play. It's not. It's not the way I want to play. After getting an Xbox controller for my computer and using that, it's more comfortable because you end up using the 4 buttons anyway. It's just more comfortable for me. And I don't know exactly why that is. I've actually had a PlayStation, had a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. I've only had one Xbox. That was I've actually had 4 Xboxes, but they were all 360s.
Oh, okay.
So I'll tell my Xbox story real quick. I used to work for Best Buy as a manager, and they gave me an Xbox. I went to some trade show, and they gave me like a standard little white Xbox. And after 6-8 months, got a hard drive failure on it. Not the red ring of death. That's the overheat light. Just the hard drive failure light. The one red light. So I'm like, all right, it was free. Sent it to Microsoft. They repaired it. Sent me back a refurbished one. And then about 6-8 months later, it happened again. All right. So I kind of parked it for, I don't know, about a year or so. And then that's when the Xbox Elites came out, like the black ones, So I was like, all right, well, I'll buy one of these because, this is the one where it's supposed to have fixed the hard drive and it looks better and all the things. So I bought one of the black ones, the Elite boxes. The one, I think it had a terabyte hard drive or a 500 gig hard drive or something, which was like just huge at the time. And anyway, so I bought the thing, took it home, enjoyed it. About maybe a year later, I was playing Final Fantasy 13 and the little red light came on. All right. So I sent it in to Microsoft. They sent me back a refurbished one that was white. So I sent it back to Microsoft and said, bullshit, I got a black one. Send me a black one. All the specs inside were the same, or they said they were. But they sent me a white one. I'm like, bullshit, send me a black one. So after about a month of waiting, they sent me about a black one. And anyway, so about 4 months of playing on this brand new black one that they sent me. It was actually a brand new one. It wasn't a refurbished one they sent me this last time. Brand new one out of the box. Sent me. I'm sitting there playing Final Fantasy 13. I am on not the last boss, but like the third to the last boss. And I got him about 50%. And sure enough, hard drive light lights up and the whole thing just crashes. And
worse luck.
I'm sitting there just fuming. And I walk away from it. I go play World of Warcraft for a little bit. I come back and I take everything Xbox I had. I put it into a big old box. I then drove down to GameStop and said, what do you give me for it? I think they gave me like $40. I'm exaggerating. They actually gave me enough money to buy a PlayStation 3 with a couple of games, an extra controller. They actually did me right. Yeah, that's why I don't own Xboxes. Now, that being said,
I don't blame you. The 360 was a great console, but it wore out like shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't even really like. I was primarily playing World of Warcraft at the time. I wasn't even like playing hardcore. Like I wasn't playing for hours and hours on end on the console. When I had some free time, I was playing on the console. I think probably total on each console, I probably had. I'd say probably less than 100 hours on each one. Anyway, so so that's why I own Xboxes no more. And the next generation of between the PlayStation 5 and everything else, I'm really, really leaning toward getting an Xbox because the whole cross-play with PC stuff is just going to be a lot more friendly than trying to finagle that with Xbox stuff.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going to cut in. Is right now Xbox, Ultimate Game Pass. There's nothing better than that. I mean, Flight Sim came out. I got it for free. I just downloaded it on my PC because I had the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass.
Yeah, and if you want to play on your Xbox, you can.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I remember when I bought the last Gears of War on the PC. It was like, well, hey, if you got an Xbox, you can download it on the Xbox and play it there, and you actually get your saved game and play it on there. If you can flip flop in between the two, and I'm like,
but that's how really cool. I ended up with the Ultimate Game Pass by doing that. I had Xbox Gold. I've been paying $10 a month for the last 12. However, when did Xbox 360 come out? That's when I got an Xbox Live account. So however many years ago that was, I've been paying the $10 a month or whatever for Xbox Live. Also, that Gears of War 5 comes out, and I'm going to go buy it on day one, and it says upgrade, your Xbox Live to Ultimate Game Pass for $1 more a month, and you get Gears of War 5 for free. I'm like, well, okay, I guess you talked me into it. Now I've got
sold.
I've got Ultimate Game Pass, and then you get so many different free games and stuff that me and my daughter started Gears of War, the entire series from the very beginning, and played through on Insane. We've beaten them all on that way just because we got to download them all and play them for free. Well, not free, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, PlayStation has something to that effect as well. I mean, Derek was telling me he's a member of some kind of, something. Whatever it is. And there's always like whatever the game is this month, it's free, and it's like kind of permanently in your account forever as long as you're a member. And
yeah, but doesn't Derek,
I don't know. All these things seem.
Derek's got like a very, very bad drinking problem, and he doesn't know what reality is. So
now TSN is your online account on PlayStation, and you get 2 free games every month. It used to be more because you get like backwards compatible games and stuff like that, but now it's just down to 2.
And the other thing is that they've also said that the PlayStation is not, or PlayStation 5 is not compatible beyond the digital version of the games of the 4.
Right.
Which, that's irritating. Which I know the 4 is not backwards.
Is it hard to get the digital versions?
Not really. I mean, most of my purchases on the PlayStation were digital anyway, so it's not a real big deal. Probably won't be a big deal for some, but considering the Xbox is supposedly backwards compatible all the way back to the 360, it's one of those kind of irritating little things where it's like, why would y'all do it this way?
I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons. I'm one of those people who can't go back and play games that are super old. I tried to go back and play Grand Theft Auto 3 recently, and I about had a stroke. It was impossible to look at. The controls stank. I mean, so games when they're particularly anything polygonal, they're hard to go back and play.
You say that, but I was just playing my N64 yesterday, so I'm having a good time.
Well, Nintendo's not known for making stinkers or whatever, but like I said, it's just me. It depends on the person, right?
Yeah, of course.
There are games where I agree with you for sure, that where you turn it on, you're like, oh my God, how could I even see what was going on in this game back then? But I think there are games that can see into their own art style in a way that makes it work. And that's where Nintendo often shines, right? Because they're doing stuff that's like Mario, where it makes sense for the level of graphics that they're at, and they're not trying to like achieve some kind of realism that's gonna not age well.
Right.
Often with games like that, especially during the N64 era, games had usually had a very open area graphically, and it was very clean, and colors ended where the lines ended, and wasn't trying to emulate fog and all this stuff. So that's a really good point.
I tried to go back and play Final Fantasy VIII maybe like a year ago, and I was like, Jesus. I thought, like,
can't
how
see
did I
anything.
even play this? It's terrible.
I think there's just some games that are, I would call them timeless, that they look good at any age.
Final Fantasy VI.
Pong.
Right.
Yeah, Pong, Final Fantasy VI, Pac-Man,
Donkey Kong.
The original Donkey Kong, Super Mario Brothers, Zelda. I feel like those games, they always.
But we just named off a bunch of bit-based games. Those they age fantastically.
Yeah,
River Raid, Solomon's Key. I'm just naming random.
Oh my God, we're done with you. We're done with you, man. We're done with you.
All right. Well, this turned into
now.
Yeah. This basically.
This became quite a discussion, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the Elite Dangerous Show.
Tecmo Bowl.
Anyway, so the new video cards are out. So if you are looking to do an upgrade, we will probably, once we get some benchmarks and some more information, we'll probably do a little smaller hardware roundup where we just focus on the video cards and talk about which video card we think you should purchase and which video card I should purchase, because
this would be my question. How much money do you have? That's the card you buy.
Exactly.
I don't agree with that. I think we can discuss. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's save it.
Yeah. So we're going to go into Squadron chat, and for them, we're going to turn it over to the console jockeys and hate.
Incoming priority message. Squadron briefing.
This today, actually, we expanded into the Calarum system. Both Nurgle and I, well, let's not hooray yet. Both Nurgle and I have been chatting up the leader of the COCS, who is a player group, a squadron that's been using the Maricaro network, base game faction as their BGS. And, pardon me. So right now we're just gonna sit in system. That way, when we expand again, we won't land there again. And then we're gonna try and finish up invading Quama, like we have been for like 6 months now. It feels like. So, if you're running missions for us right now, we just want to get Bumber into expansion, and see how our buddies over in Calarum are behaving.
Bumber?
Yes, Bumber.
Bumber.
Bum.
Our favorite dwarf.
Bumper? What?
Isn't Bumper one of the dwarves from I don't know, The Hobbit or something?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Wow.
I got
I
nothing.
mean, it can't be a coincidence.
Are we going to talk about how bad those movies were again?
Not this time.
No.
Oh, okay. Just
we're not.
checking. We can talk about Last Jedi.
Anyway, you guys have anything else for a squadron update before we move on to Chig Chat? All right.
No.
All right.
Check out the standing orders channel.
Yeah, if you're in the PlayStation side of the squadron, hit me up because we need Uncle Sam needs you to help Loose Crew spread out.
We need more PlayStationers.
We do need more
Word up.
PlayStationers. We do have a PlayStation
Sony
squadron. Not many active players in it.
All right, let's do it. Chig Chat time?
Chig Chat time. It's Chig Chat. Yeah, that's a fact. It's Chig Chat. Where the cheese at?
Yeah, you don't know what I'm going to do.
I never know which one you're going to do now.
Sometimes you
The timing
zig,
is
sometimes you
impeccable.
zag, sometimes you play that. That's awesome. Hi, everybody. It's Chig Chat. That's where it's at. Yeah, that's a fact. I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, yeah. 2 weeks ago, Chig Chat was talking about awesome space shows and stuff, and I was going to start going over some of those and everything. But then I started making notes and realized that I would talk for way, way, way too long. So instead, that's bait for people to come to our Discord. Our Discord. I can't talk. I'm pulling a tie. Harbor. But come to the Discord, take a look. There are a lot of cool shows people mentioned that I've been diving into a little bit here and there, and that's awesome. But this week, what I want to talk about and get people's opinions on, it's Odyssey related, but not really. I'm resigned to the fact that it's going to be a first-person shooter, kind of thing, but not really either. It's got a flower gun thing and stuff. But
the flower gun always makes me think about like Super Mario when he would the flower would make him shoot fire.
Yeah,
I always pictured that he was holding the flower and the flower was shooting the fire, and I can't tell because of the pixel graphics if that's really what was going on.
I never thought of that.
But as soon as I saw the thing in the dev diary, I was like, "It's Super Mario's flower."
Dude, in the TV show, we would just throw fireballs.
In the TV show?
Yeah, the TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before the cartoon, though, we always figured that he ate the flower and it was super spicy and he was shooting the fireballs out of his ass.
It's like a small
What are you playing? You're not playing the right Mario. Jesus.
No, he's right.
Doesn't he hold the flower?
No. Yeah, there. Like in later animations, there's like extra 2 bits of Little White that's supposed to be the flower that he's firing them out of.
Is
I
that
don't think that's accurate at all.
that's only when you have RTX.
I'm trying to
on
think.
that you
This
see
might
the
be
flower.
Super Mario 3.
RTX on. I mean, I just no. You think he ate the flower because of the precedent of the mushroom? He eats the hallucinogenic mushroom that makes him think he has an extra life, but the flower he just holds.
Wow, did we derail?
I like the
I'm sorry.
psychoanalysis we're putting into the plumber Mario.
You guys spend too much time. Just jump on the damn Goomba. Move forward.
It reminds me of the meme where it's Mario on death row and his last meal is the green mushroom.
Oh my god! I'm putting us back on track. We're done. Move forward.
All right. So what I was gonna say is we've all, the joke for a lot of people is, oh my God, I don't want it to be Fortnite, blah, 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 or people say, I already have first player shooters I play. I don't want this to be my first player shooter. And my gripe, I was talking about it with the guys earlier, is, I started this game to play an awesome game in VR, to fly spaceships and explore the galaxy. I didn't get it for first person shooters. So if I sound down on Odyssey a little bit, that's why. Is it's not what I expected, but at the same time, I don't want to shit on it because I'm happy that it's being added to the game. Anything they add to fill this galaxy is awesome by me. But if we're going to have a first-person shooter, I started thinking, well, what kind of first-person shooter? Because obviously Fortnite, we don't want Battle Royale and stuff. And I started trying to think of, first-person shooters. I've played a lot of them. I'm not a big first-person shooter fan, but ever since I got VR, I've played, everything's first person, and not everything, but a vast majority you're playing from first person perspective. And I was trying to think of, things that would make Odyssey more interesting to me, and trying to think of, what kind of first person shooter I would enjoy in this game, because obviously we're not going to have narrative. Well, there's narrative, but you know what I mean? It's going to be kind of repetitive stuff we're doing and collecting. So it's really more about game mechanics than anything else. And, there's 2 first-person games that I've played a lot of, and both of them are not huge combat-oriented. The first one is 7 Days to Die. I've played that on console and I played on PC. Me and my daughter have hundreds of hours in that. And that one, I'd like to see some aspects of that in this game, but that's a voxel-based game, and they would have to change everything in order to do any kind of on-planet base building and stuff from 7 Days to Die. But that's one game that I think would be a good kind of way to go with the first-person side of it, because it's not all combat. You're building stuff, you're exploring, you're hiding, doing stuff like that. And then the other one, and everybody will probably not like me using this one because the line is, that was built from the ground up to be in VR, but Half-Life Alyx. There's just stuff in Half-Life Alyx that is just so awesome, and the detail-oriented. And after seeing the flower gun, when I first saw it, I thought it was, I thought the portal gun from Portal. I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. But then also the gravity gloves in Half-Life Alyx, just having that kind of concept in here would be so cool, because it would take care of some of the movement issues in zero gravity if we're able to move around our ships, or on low gravity planets, and being able to grab stuff and just things like that. I want some kind of dynamic gameplay. I just don't like the idea of walking around planets and collecting flowers and selling them. I want something to be there, but I'm just curious, what kind of first person type stuff you would get excited about. I mean, you guys got anything?
Get excited about. Well, I'm willing to bet that it's just going to be a series of varying types of missions on a mission board that you can do, where you have to land planetside and sneak onto a sparsely guarded base to use some sort of handheld data link scanner and leave. And then other than that, then people are just going to be showing up on planets and shooting at each other just for the fun of it. But I can't imagine there being too much more outside of that.
I feel like.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I should. No, you go. Okay. I get to talk all the time.
I have many more high hopes for what is deemed now in my head permanently, unfortunately, as the plant gun.
Field sampler.
Yeah, the field sampler. Because regardless of what the minigame is like, in order for me to locate any type of organic, whether it be anomaly and or surface based, but we'll just stick with surface for now, it's simpler. I already have to have 3 different windows open to make my adventure go from a month of aimless staring around to 2 hours. I'll get a new crystalline forest for you. Just heading out on a whim. So there is a lot of background mechanics to the way the current organics function. Most people, I think it really spoils it with the way the DSS works now, where you just left click and there it is. Beforehand, it got to the point where, let's take brain trees, for example. I could pinpoint where a brain tree would be because they only show up in the centers of ejecta crater, which are a specific type of crater found on bodies, and or in specific low variant fissures. And all of the other organics in the game spawn in different areas, from fissures, crags, and they spawn in all specific, all of the different types of planet formations. And since they're already going to be going the extra step with the, ice worlds, what they talked about with the cryovolcanism and all of that, I have very high hopes for it being much more like, on the surface, it could just be a mini game and you go about. But people who, get bored with that might not be interested. But the people who already know how the game functions to find shit in 3 seconds, whereas most people are like, I wish I could find something, but I'm not going to go out there and aimlessly run around. Canon doesn't aimlessly run around. We have, many systems in place that streamline everything now. And now it's kind of gotten a bit boring because we have everything down pat, basically. But I have extreme high hopes for not only the way the new organics are going to behave, but they've, mentioned them in a different format of not just organics you find, but vegetation, where vegetation would mean, spread out clusters of these things rather than just, here's some brain trees in this little, 5 kilometer by 6 kilometer space. That's cool. Right. Move on. They might be more meshed together, more connected. You might find, 8 fields, like forest areas of, these new types of organics. So while the field sampler could be super simple or super complex, there's a lot more to that than, the way it seems. That people felt very much the same way when certain things in Horizons came out, when they talked about finding organics and like, well, you just go down to the planet. But I have very high hopes for that. And as far as that tying into the first person aspect, well, you're going to be using that, on your in your hand. And like I said, whether the tech itself is simple or not, the device, there's going to be some, very likely, I can't imagine why we would be regressing. There'll be some serious mechanics you're going to have to study for a while to pop up and go, okay. So in this 500 by 2000 light year area, I'm expecting to find this in hours based on system mass down to luminosity of the system, all kinds of things. So I have very high hopes on that, but that comes from a Canon background, which, most people, you just kind of, that's a cool thing, and then, drift off.
I'm actually kind of hoping, with the flower gun is actually, more uses. They've said multiple tools, so maybe there'll be other tools and they haven't shown us anything else, but I think more just collecting plant samples and stuff, that really does nothing for me. I'm hoping there might be more of an archaeological side to this, where you're going around Thargoid sites and Guardian sites and gaining more information.
If they've added exobiology as a whole new career, you don't just with combat or trade, you don't just go in and do only, only bounty hunting missions work towards combat. There's a lot of things, a lot of variations of combat that work. And like you said, with the tools, right, I would imagine we're going to be getting a various subset. And not only that, we could be tying that into retrospective or, retro stuff, like you said, the Guardians and all that. So I cannot imagine going forward, we're not going to be, tapping on some of the Guardian doors at those bases that go underground. Maybe we won't be going in them, but in the very least, there should be a lot to play with. Now, I can understand it not if you're not interested in the mechanisms of, of how the organics are generated or how you go about finding these things, then that might not be your forte, but you always seem very interested in a lot of the stuff that I say. So I'm slightly surprised you're not more interested in that. But obviously, depends on what happens when you see it.
Do you think it's just a factor of that you haven't seen much, so you're sort of like presuming there isn't anything else?
Elaborate slightly. I have an answer, but
I'm kind of aiming that at Chig, actually, like, because I think you are presuming there's going to be quite a bit going on here.
The professor's he's a glass half full kind of guy, I can tell. So he's definitely far more optimistic than I am.
I think it does matter on like a base of what I've seen versus newer people coming in, or even just people who've been playing the game forever and haven't interacted with any of it. People in history used to get really angry with canon of, FDev feed them information, or they're using some exploits to find stuff, and I don't even want to bother finding things because other people are going to find it before me and stuff like that. So we have a weird reputation with that. So I can understand people not being super thrilled for stuff that they might not even be invested in trying to learn, and or it's something they haven't experienced beforehand. Therefore, a lot of the mechanics in the game seem like clicking a button. But when I'm coming up to a planet or body, I'm seeing, okay, that over there, I'll head down without using the DSS sometimes.
I'm convinced we play a different game.
Yeah, it's understandable. Sure. Like I wouldn't refute what you're saying just because there's more complex things underneath. But I do feel like it's not just going to be for anyone else who doesn't necessarily know that type of stuff exists in the game as it is. I do feel it's going to be more than. You're not concerned right now that you're going to have, when you're approaching these planets, it's going to be a bunch of biological sites, and that's where you can land and get out, and that's where you'll find plants, or is this stuff going to be all over planets? I mean, that's debatable with the way that they have said it, but I mean, I'm perfectly fine with getting the gun and applying that to the stuff the first thing I'm going to do is just going to go back through the stuff that already exists, because there's so much, some stuff that doesn't even show up in the codex, which people don't know exists. So I'm really thrilled to go back through the old stuff and just drop down at the same spots I've dropped before. But I think it is a matter of, seeing the galaxy in a much more connected way than, from most people's gameplay perspective of, I hop on, I shoot some things, and that's perfectly valid. That's what you do. But yeah, I'm not worried about the advancing complexity of it all. But I would highly imagine it would be more advanced, since they're adding in, specifically with Ice Worlds, they're adding in so many more biomes, so to speak. Since we have so many organics spawning in very specific biomes as it is, if they're going to elaborate on that, and it's not just going to be Ice Worlds, it'll be, high metal content and a few others. And then Lord help us when we find a thin ammonia atmosphere, and we can go through with the some people I know who love their ammonia best served, chilled. I'm pretty hopeful about it, because I mean, when the next patch years out happens, next big update, depending on how this one goes, I'll probably view that one differently. But based on how I didn't expect any of this coming in Horizons, I'm pretty okay to wait till it pops out, because Guardians were not mentioned at all in Horizons, and that was what I got my major start in canon doing. So I didn't think I'd be tracking down planets by eye and doing archaeology on spreadsheets when I opened up Elite when I first installed it. So I have varied hopes with it, just because of the way things have been implemented.
God bless you. Whoa.
Oh, shit, I wasn't muted.
Okay, it was a nice punctuation to my end of that sentence.
Nice.
Anyway, God, I forgot where we were at. We're not.
Plant gun.
Jig chat, plant gun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be super quick. My feelings are that there's just probably a lot of stuff here, kind of like you're saying, like the Guardians were not included in any of the pre-information of Horizons. There's stuff here that is not known yet, and I think they're going to trickle information out. And even still, there's going to be stuff there that doesn't get mentioned and we discover later once it actually releases. But like, what am I expecting for the first person aspect of it? Like, I've thought a little bit about the combat side of it, which is, that's the thing that is sort of like fun to be not interested in. And I think like it could be good. It is not why I got this game, but it could be good if it is good. And I'm picturing something sort of more like, I guess the last game I played that was even remotely like this was Battlefield 3, where you have this like air and on the ground kind of thing that can be mixed. And it was pretty minimal in that, but it was possible. So, I mean, that's the way that it would work, right? An Elite is like SRV and feet and ships and doing like combined strike kind of things where you each have different responsibilities. That seems exciting to me. Like that would turn my head and I'd be, oh, maybe I do want an FPS in this game.
I think that's a good turning point for the game, regardless of how complicated it is, because outside of Thargoid combat, when you're going at it really hard and in a group with multiple interceptors, there's never a time in Elite where you actually need to coordinate. So I'm really interested to see how hard it is or how people struggle with it, because every other time, NPCs, you just, hey, he's over there, wherever you are, just start left clicking. So I'm very interested in that aspect, Trax. That's a neat aspect of it, coordination in Elite that we don't really have to have in combat in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't really have any sort of like for lack of a better term, raid content. Where you kind of, aside from like the what is it, the Thargoid Hydra or whatever it is. Yeah, I know people. The
very very big girls.
Yeah, I know people have soloed it, but we haven't had a situation where it's like, well, we're going to need at least 10 ships to do this, or we're going to need a large group to do this, and it'd be cool to actually have some stuff like that where you have to have, the big girls, for lack of a better term, to come in there and kill some and do those kinds of things.
It would give you a good reason to have a social hub that you needed to either hire other players or NPC crew to fill those roles.
Yeah.
And that's what we're told we're getting. So I feel like there has to be some kind of mission content where you would need that.
Now that would finally turn this into an MMO. If you actually have group content, but you're going to need the carrot to get people to go do it. You're going to have some pretty, decent rewards. Then you'll get people coordinating to do that stuff. And once again, hoping that their net code gets cleaned up so that you can do it without frustration.
They have the carrot that you're talking about in game already as well. G6 engineering materials.
Oh, you're going to make people angry.
Oh, man. This is not a good path. Turn.
All right.
Move along. Nothing to see here.
Retro Thruster out of here.
Let me exercise host thing here, and we're gonna do the pause here real quick, and we're gonna do the Alec Turner ad.
Chassis integrity compromised.
Welcome to the Scarab Proving Grounds. Watch your favorite racer compete for victory while they boost their SRV across the planets at speeds of well over 100 meters per second. Tune in to the 8-Wheel Drive Endurance Championship broadcast during one of the 5 remaining races in the championship. Check out the Elite Racers subreddit for more details and a link to their Discord.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that was going to be longer. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Sorry.
Damn it, Alec, give us a longer ad next time.
Right, so I kind of wanted to, I've been thinking all week, I've been playing Flight Sim, and I've been thinking all week, man, it would be so cool to have like more little knobs and switches and stuff that I was wanting to just talk about that. But after we go, I'm going to hold off on that because you just brought up a very good point, Chig and Awan and everybody else. And I want to kind of go into a little further. So a lot of people don't really consider Elite an MMO because it is kind of on the fringe of an MMO. And so the question is, now I'm of the mindset it's an MMO, it's just a different flavor of MMO. So my question is that the direction that FDev is going with Elite? Are they actually going to do the full turn and pull it into an MMO with Odyssey?
That would be an awesome twist.
So.
I'd love it.
You're not going to lose solo.
Yeah.
No. I mean, with all the social hubs that they're supposedly putting into it, I think that's what they're
in the very
moving towards.
In the very least, it's definitely going to, hey guys, actually, group up and kind of think about what you're doing, because they had been saying that before fleet carriers, just kind of over the forums and just general chat, even while they were quiet about, some people would ask, where do you see Elite in a while? I was like, well, we really just like more people to get together and do things. We don't want to throw solo out the window, obviously, but we want people to go together. And I think that in and of itself, Elite's already kind of on the fringe of being an MMO. So I think any more of that is just going to make that better.
It's kind of like wing missions weren't quite enough to make everybody do it, right? Because there are plenty of wing missions that I know I can solo with the right ship.
Yep.
I'm just imagining things, you got your planet side type missions, but even just like a group, you have to like attack a station. You have to have ships, run interference while other ships, dock or breaching like on the Expanse. And then you go in the station and you complete some objective and you get back out. There's so many just cool possibilities they could do. I just don't know if that's the direction they'd want to go or where they're going.
That's the real key, right? So, I mean, I think that most MMOs offer way more content on a regular basis than this game. That's the real thing that sets it apart.
Yeah.
Like narrative content.
I mean, I guess so, but I mean, just more things for people to collect themselves together and go do collectively.
Like 5-man dungeons, 10-man dungeons, 25-man dungeons, but in here it'd be, missions where, I don't know.
Yeah, here it's missions or hey, let's go kill Starboids.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, so that would be interesting actually, because then you like here, like there are wing missions, but it doesn't have an actual restriction on who or what you bring with you. So do we have like a thing where you have to go to the social hub and, okay, we're going to do this thing. So we actually need a person who is going to be the on foot and 2 people who are going to drive SRVs for this purpose and 2 people that are going to be air cover. And you actually have to fill those roles. You sort of like make a game lobby or something and then start an instance. Instancing is
that's
like a whole new twist on the tank healer DPS kind of thing, but it's different ships doing different, having different purposes.
I think it's going to go that way kind of organically, because just something as simple as I was just playing Payday earlier and this reminded me of it. Just something simple as, hey, one person has to be inside pressing a button because I can't do what I need to do when the ship's up there. Just something as simple as that makes it more engaging. And then if you've got some NPCs around and they can aim kind of well and they're not, brain dead, they can use a little bit of cover. Elite is so good at organically making, or the community itself organically making these situations fun. And not just because sometimes Elite lacks it, but something as simple as, hey, I have to be two people have to be inside pressing 2 buttons at the same time on different ends. And there's, automated defenses and just a couple NPCs. And then someone else has to be outside with an SRV because we can't bring ships over here. So they need to be scanning this over there. Something simple like that, just out of a Payday situation, which is literally just, needing multiple people in different areas that you can't access all at one time. Would just organically kind of go that way, because the wing missions definitely didn't scratch that itch at all, in my opinion, because you can do most of them on your own. And I think if anything, they were a good idea. They were a good idea just to hey, let's share our rewards better, which I think was probably more of the intent.
Yeah.
And it just kind of came out that it was supposed to be, get your entire guild together and go kill one asp that has engineering on it or something. But something like that is going to organically make it more, do something together. And those social hubs, if, you know, who knows what they have. It's kind of dreaming as far as networking goes, but, you know, who knows what they have on that. But just something as simple as, you know, touch these two buttons on opposite ends, because, you know, there's not really anything in Elite, just like I was saying with the Thargoids, of anything where you need to coordinate. There's nothing really in Elite where you need two people to do something at the same time or more than that.
Right.
To activate,
just adding some mechanics, sort of, you know, like boss fights, just where people have to be doing stuff together and you cannot do it alone. That would be awesome.
I think it can be good even if it is kind of simple. Who knows the depth of it, what it is. They say it's more than probably I'm theorizing, but even if it's on a simple basis, that just sounds fun to do as a variation, you know, an addition to my gameplay, because Elite isn't one of those things where the new update came out, guys, let's just play only that. You know, you play the rest of the game with the updated content. So any more wrinkles we can add on, I think is great.
Absolutely. Very, very interesting idea.
I like all it sort of felt like it shut down the room, but that's exactly correct.
Sorry, there are many times when I'm watching the podcast, I'm like, oh, there's something I have to say right now. And now I finally get to say it.
I think that's right. I wonder how much trepidation there is around. Like, what if somebody can't find someone to push the other button for them? You know, there may need to be some kind of like hire an NPC to be that person for you. But there's a way to do that where it doesn't sort of devalue the whole process.
Yeah.
You know,
and there's
it would
different
still be more
there's
fun
different
to do with
bases
people.
for a reason too. So who knows?
I mean, what about your crew for one?
Right.
I don't know. I feel like they're never going to walk around. I feel like they're never going to do much for a while.
crew don't have legs.
Yeah, I feel like your personal crew aren't going to be a thing for a while, but that's just me. That's a side comment.
Which really sucks, because I would love for one of them to plant their butts in one of these empty seats in the in the cockpit.
Yeah, right.
They would less often be empty if you played on PC and had a larger player base.
There we go again.
That's true.
That's
a few short weeks ago. It was Me Too.
Oh, now it's the Me Too movement. God damn.
Oh, is this what I'm here for? To be guilted into matching out a credit card?
The real solution of this is cross-play, not that we should all have to play on the same thing, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll concur with that.
Yeah, they said in that interview that they're not working on that either.
Yeah.
It's really a big loss for our community.
I think so.
That's disappointing.
I don't know the politics that go into that, you know, between whether it's Sony holding out or whether they, you know, because it seems like only big AAA
the only thing I've heard is
get access to it.
The only thing I've heard is Braven saying that if it came out and there were any changes to the BGS and you had crossplay, if they didn't all release at the same time, which they never usually do, you would have one group of people on an old version of the background sim, and you kind of have two different worlds. So that would take some. I wouldn't even want to touch trying to figure that out. As cool as that would be, I wouldn't want to be on their team trying to figure that out.
But there was already something like that happened when the FSS scanner came out. Mm-hmm. One or two of the platforms were bugged out, and nobody could get into the game, and a bunch of players were out there like tagging all the planets with first mapped. Mm-hmm. While not everybody could play, so like we had discrepancies, and there was no cross-play enabled. There was still discrepancies. So
yeah,
I remember that. I think it was PlayStation that couldn't actually log in, but Xbox and PC were fine, if I remember correctly. So I mean, there were some people who had, who were basically posted up in their systems they had discovered. They wanted the first map on system they discovered, and they lost it. And yeah, that's irritating. So.
Well, so I'm just saying, like, that doesn't sound like that much of an excuse. I mean, there was also like the technology around crossplay and the politics around crossplay have recently changed, but that doesn't mean the coding of the game. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in the background, whether that would be easy or hard. I'm assuming it would be hard.
That Braven thing was also, a while ago, way back when they were first talking about it. But as far as any information, that's really all I know. I know consoles fight each other for releasing things, but now things have changed a bit. So who knows what it actually is keeping them from it.
The thing about it is that no matter what, they're going to have to, I think without a doubt, you think about all the problems we've had recently just trying to play with small groups. If they're going to try to play with larger groups, or they're going to do anything like that, they're going to have to do some code cleanup. They're going to have to do some stuff to make it all work together better. Because otherwise it's just going to be pure frustration. And I feel like that they've mentioned before, well, yeah, we know the netcode's wrong, but we're really focused on this, or yeah, we're working on that and stuff. I feel like they're going to have to put the netcode issues on the front burner to sort that out.
Yeah, but they've said they're not working on that either.
I know. In which, honestly,
they only tell us when they're not working on stuff.
I know, right?
That's the only straight up confirm is it's a no.
Yeah, I read an article one of these deals where they're interviewing a couple of the guys, and I swear that over 3/4 of this Q&A that they couldn't comment on anything, and that was the majority of it. I couldn't believe that they printed it.
I think this happens with these kinds of online mag articles. Chig and I were talking about this the other day. Sorry, I hit my mute there for a second. Chig and I were talking about this the other day. It's like the magazine or the blog or whatever, this isn't the forum, right? And it's not like a dedicated thing that's about Elite Dangerous. So you sort of have this perception that when they're giving this interview, they're talking to something that's outside of their typical audience, right? But then what the magazine did is they were like, oh shoot, we got the Elite Dangerous people, let's farm some questions. And all those questions came straight from the forum. And so, oops, flip the script. You thought you were talking to the uninitiated audience and you were going to be, selling to new fans. Nope. You just got a bunch of questions about stuff that we keep pestering you about over and over again on the forums. That's what it felt like anyway.
It's just a shame that they then went ahead and printed this thing where you learned that nothing.
Frontier has always historically been this way, and it's odd, but at the same time, they've given me cool things that I've played for a long time, but they're one of the very few dev teams where it's just, nope, not say anything, and it'll be the next day before, nope, can't tell you, and sometimes even afterwards, they'll be like, hey, so this thing you talked about, is it in? Can't tell you, and you can't really tell if it's okay. Is it hidden in the game? Is it there, or have you not added it? Nope, can't. So it's a very odd Frontier thing, and I know a few other devs that are like that, but they really.
Well, I'm willing to bet that they sat in on some sort of Sean Murray, speaking engagement, where he told them about how No Man's Sky went and just said, "Hey, here's the key: don't procrastinate." Which
that
I
is
understand.
True. There is that, but there is always that.
Sean Murray's a liar.
Here we go.
He's just a
mad.
At least,
I didn't mean to open up this can of worms.
At least, unlike Elite, everything that's come they've talked about is in No Man's Sky now, so I'm happy, regardless of what he said to begin with.
It only took him a year after release, or 2 years after release.
Are we 5 years into Elite?
And to my knowledge, Frontier hasn't lied. They just said, yeah, it's coming, or yeah, we're working on it. They haven't said, oh yeah.
I think that depends on who you ask.
They haven't said on freaking Jimmy Kimmel, yes, you'll be able to play with your friends, and then the game releases and you can't play with your friends. And then the FCC did a review of it and said, oh no, he didn't lie. How the fuck did he not lie? He's a fucking liar.
Well, you can play with your
good
friends
news.
now.
When Odyssey comes out, you'll be able to play No Man's Sky with your friends, because so far that's essentially what we're getting, the plant gun. I mean, I say that I'm a glass half full guy, but I'm not super excited about what they've revealed so far, because so far it's I played No Man's Sky quite a lot, actually, and I left it to come play this. And now this game's playing catch up by bringing in the Field Templars. Like, I don't need that. But you know what? If you're going to put it in, fine, I'll use it. But I'm not excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can continue playing the game you love with better looking planet graphics and ignore the plant sampler.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to come off sounding negative, because it's I find it strange that it almost feels like a step backward, but it only is to me personally, because I've sunk hundreds of hours into No Man's Sky prior to playing the Legion.
Okay,
Right.
I have to ask this question. Why do we keep calling it the plant sampler? Because it's going to sample other things, right?
Yeah.
I think we should call
Sorry,
it. I think we should call it the fire flower.
There are
How
many.
about the DNA with Stractor?
There are many organics in the game which are not vegetation, and some things are microbes that grow and feed off of the side of fumaroles and stuff like that. So yeah, a plant gun is wrong. It's just I can't stop thinking of that for some reason, because the Chig said it and was like, that sounds really funny to call it.
Chig's fault. Got it. It's clearing that up.
Most things are. Off topic a little bit. I know I'm just going to be negative too, but some people have talked about, they kept talking about getting your Neil Armstrong moment, and then they've talked about obviously then is finally opening the moon so we can land on it, so we can have that actual Neil Armstrong moment. We can stand on the moon and look at the Earth. I really like that idea, but then again, if you're taking away VR from me, I'm really just even more disappointed, because that would be amazing to step on the moon in VR and look at the Earth.
They said that the moon was coming?
No, this is some speculation.
No. I was going to say the moon is supposed to.
Different podcasts and different shows. A lot of people have proposed this as a concept, especially with them keep calling it the Neil Armstrong moment.
You got me excited, because the moon is supposed to have some really extreme lore hidden on it that we can't access. So I was like, wait, the
issue is because
in the story. So.
In all of their videos, they're talking about, we wanted you to really have this Neil Armstrong moment. They said it several times.
Okay, and then
when talking about the first time you step out of your ship, and so maybe they speak too soon, and they didn't realize people were going to so strongly attach that to the moon.
That's bizarre. I didn't.
But that is a hard thing to miss, in my opinion. So if they just meant to do a Neil Armstrong moment on any world. Okay. It sucks that you said it that way, though, because now you're going to accidentally disappoint everybody.
Well, what's a better way to say it? Because it sounds like just kind of a marketing thing to say the Neil Armstrong moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's a dangerous one, right?
Have your SpaceX Mars moment. We haven't been anywhere else but the moon, so you can't, can't say, have that stepping on the seashores of America for the first time after traveling around half the globe. So I didn't at all think of it that way, though. That's interesting. People went that direction.
I think for all you people who are losing out on VR, you can play like I do. Just sit really closely to the most gigantic monitor ever.
That's basically what I do when I'm recording, and when I flat screen it, I have a giant monitor right in my face.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, here's the thing too. They also said that VR is something they're going to work on in the future. They said it is coming. So
yeah.
I mean, there's still hope to be able to give us the go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm just like, I know, and I remain cautiously optimistic. I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to chill, man, until it comes out. And I've kind of decided I have to stop worrying, fretting about it and stuff. It will be what it will be. And I can't wait to someday play it in VR.
Yeah. I was still holding out hope when they came out and talked a little bit. I don't know if it was Steven or who, and said that they are still working on it, diligently, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then this other article that just came out is, flat out said, so on day one, there won't be any VR support. Just, flat out, that's what they said.
Expansion
So that
content.
even makes me scared too, that, the past stuff won't have it either, but I'm just going to.
No, they have clarified that vanilla and God, we're up to say vanilla now. Vanilla and Horizon will have VR support.
Right, and that whole thing is fishy too. That answer, because is vanilla and Horizon still going to be a thing? My guess is Horizons will be vanilla.
I think
once
so.
it's launched, they're not going to make you buy the first game, buy Horizons, and buy Odyssey.
Well, okay, we say that, but keep in mind
there'll be a new pack,
right? I mean, this is not may not be the best comparison, but to keep in mind, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, if you buy vanilla World of Warcraft, you just get vanilla World of Warcraft.
I have no idea because that doesn't happen in space.
If you buy the latest expansion of World of Warcraft, you get World of Warcraft.
Okay, you're right about that. But I mean, I think you can still just if you start a new account and you do like the
trial
day, whatever hell it is, I think you end up, if you start a subscription, I think you just get vanilla World of Warcraft.
Well, kind of, but you're still going to have all the current graphics. You're going to have all the current mechanics. You're going to have it's going to be the new game. You just won't have access to the new levels.
Right.
This is going to be two different games, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they roll back the planetary rendering tech into the other games, you just can only see it from orbit.
God, it's going to be weird. It's just going to be so weird.
Those are the unanswered questions where the demarcation is. Whatever, we'll find out.
Questions,
you might just be able. The line in the sand might be that if you don't have the expansion, then you don't have the suit, so you can't get out of the ship.
Yeah, well,
right. That would be great.
Right.
Where you can
and
land.
But
yeah,
we already have suits.
We already have the unlock.
If our canopy blows out, we don't die. We have suits.
And they don't have rubber on the bottom of their feet, so you might slip and cut the suit.
Well, so I one of the things that I'm curious about is like the way gravity is handled with the SRV and with ships trying to land is really nice. So obviously they're thinking about that. So I fully expect there to be, if you're moving around, like if you're on like a 1/5 G world, you're going to have to hop. You're not going to be able to run. You can't get enough traction to run, right?
Well, unless those jetpacks are their solution to that. They're going to have maybe down thrust kind of,
Sure.
I don't know.
Now I would love to have, like, speaking from a VR perspective, like there's I'm forgetting the name of the game, but they had a really elegant 0G mechanic for moving around, where like your arms lock to surfaces, and you can sort of pull yourself and fling yourself, and you have thrusters. What's it?
Lost Echo.
I think it was a drift.
Lost Echo. That's the one.
Yep. Lone Echo.
And Lone Echo.
Yeah.
And I mean that's perfect in a 0G world. That works excellently. It doesn't no notes, right? And then walking, we already know how to do that. First person. And yeah, the jetpack would be just kind of like a thruster pack would work fine. I guess that's easier than hopping, right? In a game kind of situation. But that's all sort of, it's something that I trust that they would do. Those are the things that they've always thought about with this game. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's something like I'm looking forward to it. I want to see that they've taken it to that level.
Yeah, I'm just still. We're back at the point where they gave us more information that just, in my opinion, gave us more questions. The
thing is, and I'm a very big believer of this, I don't think they're giving us information because I don't think they know. I don't think they have some of their decisions and features finalized yet. I think that they're kind of sitting around going, well, okay, well, this will be, patch 1 stuff. This will be patch 2 stuff. This will be,
That's why I said earlier, I was when we were talking before the show, I was in that mode where I don't like that this is one giant expansion. There's so many things in here that would have been cool to just trickle out over time and, just grow the galaxy, not necessarily organically. We're adding organic, so no pun intended, but you just give us stuff over time. Like we're getting these little sound bites now. It'd be so much cooler if they would have added, this, or ice planets got added here, this got added there. I don't know, just
you got to make that money though.
Well, one of the things that they've they did with Horizons, like, all right, so we gave you this stuff and then we're going to plan it out the rest. They've said that with this one, we're gonna give you a bigger box, we're gonna give you bigger out of the box, but we're still going to have content patches. I'm going to guess there's going to be at least 3 major content patches in there, where there are going to be some stuff like, all right, so here's some stuff, guys.
Content patches or bug fixes.
Yeah, hopefully engineering reform. Am I right?
Well, hopefully both. I mean, I would think that we're going to have both content patches and bug fixes. I mean, surely, I can imagine a scenario where they're not going to have bug fixes. Because there's going to be bugs they're going to have to sort out.
I see it more as their development cycle is we're going to get this big bump, and then they're going to be working on the next thing, and it'll be 2-3 years before we see anything significant else added.
I feel like we'd heard that they were sort of forced into that. Like they tried the season pass thing, and it trickled out, and they felt like their fan response was awful. They got raked over the coals for it. So they're like, fine, screw you. We can't do it that way. So we'll just have to wait, 3 years or something, and then give you a big content dump that you complain for 3 straight years about not having any info about. It seems like we asked for this.
It's also the way the game's coded, because initially their idea was, I remember this very clearly, the Kickstarter era was, we're going to give you these big content patches and that'll come once a year. That was the idea. But right as Elite was releasing was kind of the point where every other game was normalizing into Battle Pass or Season Pass styles. And everyone wanted, there were too many people playing. Everyone wanted all that content to just constantly come to them at all times. And they were like, okay, let's try it. But the problem with Elite is that it's coded like a Jenga tower. And that type of coding is very, very stable, because when you put it in place, it can function. However, if you try and change something, you affect all the blocks on top. And if you're trying to do that every month, then you're running low on funds, then you run into the era where they had to start gutting things, like gutting Multicrew, and everything started getting really buggy since then. So it's part of how the game is based, was kind of on an older style update scheme, and then it got lucky enough to be funded and then came out. And then unfortunately, I think when Elite was releasing, this was slightly before sci-fi became more into the mainstream. Now there's a ton of sci-fi shows and everyone kind of is back on the sci-fi hype train. But when Elite was releasing, it was very niche. It was, everyone I talked to was from the UK practically, because, and that's all the people that really, knew about it. Outside of the old Elite fans were people that were in, the area that Frontier is. And I think it's just a part of being backed in. And then, so it depends on how they go forward with it. But I definitely cannot imagine no bug fixes and no content patches along the way. And you never know if they're going to do what they did with After Horizons, where they gave us, some free stuff afterwards while they work on the new thing. And hopefully, since they know, they have a better footing now, they're actually coded, or they're trying to set things up the way they've initially intended, maybe things will come out better in the end. And
I'm with you.
I'm less of a glass half full person rather than, I have water in my glass. So I'm not trying to be the counter of, well, if you look at it this way, it's better. It's just, I'll bump my mic there. They had a lot of struggles, and the game potentially, there were, snippets of it might not have lasted out of the initial Horizons release after Multicrew and whatever the 2 patches came after that. there was potential that the game kind of wasn't, going well, especially since they had an Xbox coming out at the same time. But I think that helped and was bad at the same time. But I can't imagine that, we're not going to get both of those, at least for a while. And then they'll have to evaluate and see how things go, playing between how games update now and how people want content and how they can produce it.
I have hope that, they've grown so much as a studio since this release too. Just the number of employees, the number of games they're working on and everything else. And, hopefully, it is this all hands on deck to get Odyssey out. Then their teams can start working on fixing things and other projects within the game that they want to get fixed and get released and stuff like that. I definitely hope that that's the case. And it's, just there's perceptions out there just because of the lack of information that we receive, so
that's
the lack of information scares the crap out of me. I'm serious.
I laugh in understanding.
See, ignorance is bliss, man. If you don't know anything, how can you be upset?
See, the thing about it though is that we know more about games that are planned 4 or 5 years away than we know about this expansion. And that really worries me.
Give me an example of that. What game do we know more about that's 4 or 5 years away?
Well, so what I'm getting at, though.
Okay.
Come on. Sorry. I'm going to mute myself.
I completely lost my train of thought. It don't matter.
You broke them.
We're getting late.
Yeah, this has turned into quite an episode, though, right? I feel good.
The easy answer for Frontier is if you want less speculation and people taking the piss out of your game, maybe throw us a bone.
Give a dog a bone. Exactly.
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't have a specific example off the top of my head because I'm tired right now. What I'm getting at is the fact that we know more about other games that are coming out in the future than we know about this expansion. And if they really had something that was for lack of a better term, a Star Citizen killer, if they walking around doing all the things that you can do that they're kind of talking about, that honestly would be a Star Citizen killer, we would be seeing a lot more of it because it'd be advertising to those people to get them to come over and play. Because
that's where they're playing. Your time.
That's where
I think we're probably about 7 months out.
That's where their player base is. They want these people to pre-order. They want these people. They want their money. It's what they want. And I don't think that they have the Star Citizen killer. And I'm not saying Star Citizen is better than Elite because it's not even a fucking video game. What I'm getting at is the fact that right now, Star Citizen, you wake up out of your bed and you can walk to a bunch of different places. You can hop on your ship and they get blown up as soon as you leave. The ability to walk around your ship, walk around the hangar, walk around the city, and do things like that is what people are after. And if they had something that was truly the killer of that aspect of Star Citizen, we'd be seeing it right now. We would see it 6 months away from release because they want people, they want their money. Because people sitting over Star Citizen going, what did I pay for? Where's my game? Where's my thing?
There's an alternative here, though. And I don't know if this is likely or like extremely, rose-colored glasses or whatever, but it's the other possibility is that unlike most of humanity, they're very patient.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have it, and they really are just not saying so yet because they want it to be a great surprise.
See, there's another
and they feel like they
too.
can get away with it. Maybe they're a big enough studio and they have enough other things going on that they don't have to like pre-insure all the game sales. They can wait until like day of all the info, we have some more info, and then day of we discover there's twice as much stuff in here as we thought, and it's so much more awesome, and it's a big surprise. And they really just wanted that moment, and it's not going to hurt them financially because when that moment happens, it's going to be enough news. So maybe they don't have to pre-spend on advertising. I don't know, but that's a possibility.
Another possibility is they've just got so many things that they are hoping to get into this, but they're not sure if they'll get in, and maybe they'll be at the next patch out, things like that. And that's why they're not, showing this possible feature. It's coaster ready, but it's not, like we finally got to see the ice planets, in that last trailer, but it was pointed out, Kai noticed it actually, how the chevrons on the throttle, it wasn't chevrons, it was flat lines. So that footage was actually from back before September last year is when that patch hit. So they've had that in the game for, that Ice World footage for that long. So it shows that they're working on a whole bunch of stuff. And I think they just don't know what's going to make the final product.
Maybe, but I think that supports my hypothesis too, though, that they could just be being patient with it. They could be quite far along. They could know a lot, and they're just choosing not to tell us, which we think sucks, because we want to know, but it isn't going to come out for a long time. So whether we know or not, we're not going to get to play it. I'm kind of coming to peace with that.
Here's my real hope, and what's happening is right now, to me, in my eyes, it's not looking good. It looks like it's going to crash and burn. And at the end, they're just going to pull it out and it's going to be great. Did you know that Apollo 13, the command module, was called Odyssey? Mm-hmm. So I think that's what they're doing. They're making it look like a disaster on purpose, and they're going to pull it out in the end, and it's going to be a heroic moment for them.
Oh my God. All right, we're learning.
Can we end the show on that? Because that's flawless.
We've beaten this up plenty tonight. And anyway, so yeah, that's going to be about it. You can do all the usual things. Check out our website, loosescrewsed.com. That's where you can find our contact info on the contact page. I got to go through there and edit it for the 1 year thing, take that stuff off, but I haven't got a chance to do that yet. That's where you email us with feedback or suggestions. Join our Discord. That's always the best way to get in touch with us. That's always the best way to participate in things. If you want to do the Black Flight thing next Tuesday, the 8th, please join us in the Discord. Again, you can find the link on the website. I have to do this because I'm now required to legally, not legally, but I'm just going to say it. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. If you're listening to us on YouTube, if you really like our show, go on to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. Stuff like that actually goes a long way to help us out. Got some things that's going to be surrounding that pretty soon is why I've been talking about that. You can also reach me on the Twitter. I am at Tyrvol, TYRVOL. Trax is a real life audio engineer, and he's damn good at it. Does his own podcast called Tone Control. Check it out at jntrax.com. Devo, do you have any last orders before we head out?
If you're not on PC and you do play Elite Dangerous, feel free to join the Loose Screws Peripheral Company on Xbox or the Loose Screws Podcast on PlayStation. We're always growing. We always have fun stuff to do.
Yep.
All right, Jig. Cheese is out, brother.
All right. This week's cheese is going to go with a great English cheese, Stilton. It's great. It's like blue cheese, nice stinky cheese, powerful cheese, amazing cheese. Stay cheesy, everybody.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.